I did.
Are you
Streams
sure?
live. I see
Here
live
we
for
go.
4 seconds. This is great.
We're live. Are
Whoa.
you happy? I
Do I
did
need to
this
be
all
more
on my own.
centrally located in my
There we.
screen?
Oh, that does not look right. By the way,
Yeah, I'm a bit weird.
Charles, what did you do? You
I
came in,
went to the standard shot that we do, which is pretty faces.
but
can't
look
help
over.
that.
Can you still
Look
hear
at
me?
Twitch.
I'm just gonna move.
Logan's very right wing tonight.
No! Don't,
Oh!
ew,
Oh, wait,
don't
no,
say that.
It's
Gross.
mirrored. You're very leftist
He does
today.
not mean what he thinks he means. Charles,
Oh,
take a
y'all
look.
want the weird layout like this? Is that what you want?
No, what I
mean-
want you to do is look over at Twitch and make sure it looks okay. Hi, welcome to our show. As you can see, we are professionals in the digital media track.
Absolute professionals.
We have no idea what the heck we're doing. Okay, there we go.
This is my profession.
We're failing. Okay, I don't know what I've done here on my screen, so we're just going to. There we are. Okay, never mind. It was me. I know that's shocking. It was me.
Kaz says I look good as always. Thank you, Kaz.
I think she's talking about me.
Oh,
No.
I thought she was talking about me.
Logan. She's talking about Logan. Hi,
Well, we're
Kaz.
already being awesome together here, so that's cool.
Kaz is always here for us. By the way, Kaz, just as a side, kind of tying in since we're still in Mental Health Month, Kaz, one of her quickie self-care things was melting chocolate in your mouth, and I've been doing that, and oh my heavens, my life has improved. Thanks, Kaz.
So you like really savor the chocolate? Is that
Yeah,
the-
like take a lindet ball or a truffle and just put it all in your mouth and
really
just let it.
experience it.
It's so good, and it's so like it really does make you stop for a minute, and then it gets
Yeah.
crazy again. But it was a great suggestion, and Kaz made it. So
That's nice. I think anytime you'd like take a little bit of time to really focus on food or whatever, it really enhances the experience no matter what you're eating.
I agree. So are we ready? I think we're definitely live. Thanks, Kaz. Charles, are you ready?
I yes. I mean, we asked that question.
I like to ask it
off.
several. I'm a Southern woman. I like to check and then check again. It's sort of like, are you sure you don't want this? Like,
Yeah, like
sure.
enthusiastic consent as we progress. It's
That's right. Consent is important. That's right. So, hi and welcome to the Digital Media Tracks Awesome Together Wednesday night stream, where we try to keep the con going between cons because we love each other, sort of, maybe.
Wait, what?
I love
sort
it.
of.
We
I was gonna have like a tender moment.
That she threw sort of in, right? You know,
roll
it's
for
kinda
initiative.
Like it's not
It's like
Dragon
that song
Con.
"You Are So Beautiful to Me." You didn't have to say
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, we're all showing our age. Okay. It's true. So, welcome. Charles and I are here tonight. Charles is getting himself sorted out. He did a quick mad dash. I'm so proud of him.
I
He
did
made it in.
actually.
You did. He hit the screen 3 minutes before we went live, so I'm super proud. Logan Jenkins is here with us tonight. So, Logan, why don't you tell the people about yourself?
Oh, hey, I'm Logan.
I know. It's bio time.
Yeah, I am a tabletop RPG creator, podcaster, content stuff. I've written 2 TTRPGs. I'm sure you're all wondering why I've gathered you here this evening.
Oh yeah, you know anything I know?
What? I mean,
Ding.
yeah, now.
That's like okay. I have written TV. That's a stupid lie that people give. I write TV shows. I write. Oh yeah, you ever write anything I know? Well, of course I'm not going to know your TTRPG. There's only 1 million out there, and I don't play them. So
Yeah.
that was
See?
the-
I told you.
hold on,
You and I are going to have a conversation.
All right, Tyra. When we have to
Yes.
explain jokes to the guests, do we really need to? Wait, I removed the wrong thing. I'll
You
take
took
us
me away.
backstage. I'm so
Oh,
sorry.
he's
meant to
moved
take us.
places now.
Whoa, everything
fix it.
changed.
There we go.
There you go. Is that better? Are you happier now? So okay. No, seriously though, those things are not easy to write.
No.
When you say you wrote them, is it for your show or you actually got some published? Tell me a little bit more about.
Oh yeah, 2. I have 2
yeah.
published. If you check out logantjenkins.itch.io, it has my 2 games. Like I said, I'm sure you're all wondering why I've gathered you here this evening, which is a mouthful. But that one I did a Kickstarter for, and it went. I mean, pretty successful for an indie RPG. It did over $10,000 So that's pretty big for a tiny RPG.
No,
And
that's really big.
And then Imaginary Friend Fight is a 1-page RPG. I really wanted to challenge myself to write a really short RPG. That one's, I don't know if y'all have watched Taskmaster, the panel show for Britain.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that. Like if you took that and like made it the Mojo verse from X-Men, so it's like fantasy Taskmaster. If you don't know the Mojo verse from X-Men, there's this character Mojo that like just beams the heroes in to his television program and makes them fight each other and stuff and do stuff for ratings, because he, like, his life force is ratings. So it's like these fun little bottle episodes. So that's why I wanted to make a fun little bottle episode of an RPG. So you can play that in the middle of your D&D game. You know, you just like all of you are transported to this weird place. If like somebody misses, right, they're sick or whatever, you just do Imaginary Friend Fight that night and have a weird time. The other one I'm sure is like And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie.
I wondered if it was like that.
Yeah, everybody arrives at this island, this private island with a huge mansion, and it's like a dozen guests, and if you are the one person left alive at the end of the night, then you get to inherit it all. But so everybody gets to play. It's like Clue, but everybody's the murderer.
I went and looked at it, and it so reminded me of Clue. So I'm so glad you said that.
Yeah, the artist that I worked with, John Turner, he did sort of an Edward Gorey art style.
It's
and
beautiful.
It's great. I'm very, very proud of that book, and like John did a great job. I'm very proud of all that stuff. In addition to all that, I do a podcast. I've been doing Very Random Encounters for 7 years now.
That's a long time. How many episodes?
Hang on.
Well, there are 5 episodes, but each 20 hours long.
So. Let's find out.
I'm sorry. I asked the hard questions.
So if I go to it, I'm sure I have a list of every 360. No way. Wow.
Darn, that's a lot.
It is a lot. But like I said, it's weekly for 7 years, so I guess that makes sense. But yeah, we play pen and paper RPGs and randomize as much as is possible. So we randomize characters, places, plots, villains, and weirder stuff.
So I'm looking at your background, and I see comic pop culture. I see the Under the Sea Dance was Back to the Future. Love it. Popeye. Why Piggly Wiggly? I know what that is, but I don't understand why you have it.
It's a t-shirt quilt, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a t-shirt quilt. And I mean,
okay, Piggly Wiggly make t-shirts?
Yeah, well, that was the thing, right? I went into a Piggly Wiggly and they had this rocket t-shirt, so I bought it. Okay. But I mean, I don't know, like Piggly Wiggly is weirdly attached to my geek culture because we had the Green Stamps books, and every time my mom would go grocery shopping, we would fill out one of those. And if we filled out a whole book, then we got to rent a video game. So that's like where a lot of my experience with video games came from. So it is weirdly still nerdy for me.
That's awesome.
But, yeah.
Well, and for those of you who don't know, it was a small chain of
it's still around,
mostly southern grocery stores, and they're very country. Like the reason you rented video games from it, because it's probably the only store in town.
Right.
You can get your food, your booze, and your video games all in the same place.
All of
it. Yeah. There's still one in Atlanta.
Oh, excellent. I gotta go to the Atlanta Piggly Wiggly. That's amazing.
There's a Piggly Wiggly at Cleveland Avenue in Southwest Atlanta. There's another one in East Point. And
wow.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
The random things that Tyra can find on the internet.
I'm here.
It's just one search away.
Yeah.
Everybody's got to have their mad skills. This just happens to be mine.
I love that's part of your geek history there, and you put it in the quilt. That's fun.
Yeah.
Check them out. PigglyWiggly.net.
Yes, keep Piggly Wiggly in business.
Awesome together. Brought to you by Piggly Wiggly. We got hero for 99 cents a pound.
And you could go find your store. There's not a lot of them, but
I seriously doubt you can rent video games now or find cool t-shirts like that anymore. But
yeah, I mean, your mileage may vary on the t-shirts and definitely on the video games, but it worked for me.
Hey, we all have to get things somehow. Piggly Wiggly was just a gateway.
Yeah.
It's just It just reminds me of I think it was Sesame Street. One of these things doesn't belong. I played that game. I found it. I know it. It's right there. I don't need Dora. I got this.
Yeah. Nailed
So
it.
why
Just ignore me. I'm
why
hitting
did you jump into the epically hard world of digital media creation for TTRPGs?
Yes.
I really love podcasts just in general. I listen to a ton of podcasts all the time. And I was a big fan of this show called It's Super Effective, which is a Pokemon podcast, and it's the number one Pokemon podcast on the platform, like on Apple Podcasts. So it's got a lot of clout, and I randomly entered a Facebook drawing to be on the show, and I won that.
Okay.
And so I was
There you
like
go.
on as a guest, and they thought that I did a really good job and was charismatic, and they just had me on a bunch. I was like a co-host for a while. And from there, we one of the co-hosts, Greg, and the other co-host, Wheels, we all liked playing D&D. So we were like, well, let's Greg had worked up a system for adding Pokemon to D&D. So we wanted to do that. So we made a show called Mythical, which was an actual play podcast with D&D, and we were in a fantasy world but with Pokemon. And that went for a couple of seasons, and then the creator of Pokemon Podcast didn't want to continue it, but we wanted to continue playing games together and making shows together. So we collectively we really enjoy improv and collaborative storytelling. So we just eventually came to let's just randomize everything. And of course, the initial idea sounds super gimmicky, and it is a gimmick, but so we thought it's oh, this will, we'll play for a season, and then it will be a disaster, and it will be a funny disaster, and that'll be great. But it turns out randomizing everything in RPGs rules, and it makes everything easier and great. And like I said, we've just been going forever now for 7 years and almost 400 episodes.
That's
So
amazing.
D&D itself is somewhat random. What do you mean by randomize everything?
Oh.
So, well, first of all, we don't always play D&D. We played D&D for our first season, but then ever since then we've done about 40 systems.
Oh my.
But when
So
we say
what's
randomize, oh wait, what?
I have a question, but I'm going to write it down.
Okay. So when I say randomize, I mean you don't if there's a selection of species that you can be, we roll a dice, whatever the number is. Since we're doing digital, we just say 1 through 15 or whatever, and that's your species. And now what's your class? It's 1 through 8. So nobody's optimized or anything. Essentially, if a decision can be comfortably made random, we like to leave it up to chance. If there's a list, we're rolling a dice. And then for plots, especially it was very easy for D&D. There's a ton of random dungeon generators. That's what I did for the first season. It just had a completely random dungeon, and that's where they entered and played. But for other stuff, you can find I don't know, I did a teen mystery novel plot generator for our bubblegum shoe season, and that exists. I mean, the internet has everything, so you can find stuff that that will randomize stuff for you. And of course, it just gives you a sentence, and then we all extrapolate from there, and we try to improv our way into telling cohesive, fun stories. Yeah.
So my question is, out of all those systems, what's your favorite?
Okay. That's I can't believe I'm not more prepared for that, but that's kind of like asking somebody what their favorite song is, and you're like, are you talking about right now, or
You could give me
over the
right
course
now.
of
We'll go
life?
with right now.
So I think
Rooster by Alice in Chains. Oh wait, that was just an example. I'm
that's
sorry.
that is a really good song. That's a great choice.
So high school, anyway.
But my favorite system is probably something that's powered by the Apocalypse, which is the 2d6 system. It has a very straightforward way for everybody to know if somebody succeeded or failed. You roll 2d6. If it's 6 or less, they've failed. If it's 7 through 9, they've got a mixed success. And if it's 10 plus, then they've got a great success. So for me, nobody's asking the GM, and then they have to clarify, well, what's your AC? And then what do you add to that? It's just you roll 2d6, everybody knows what it is. And everything is that simple. It's very rules light. And as you may intuit from our theme and what our premise is for our show, we want to be able to mostly focus on telling stories.
Per se. Seems like the interaction is probably more what you're going for than the
Yeah,
killing of the monster.
right. I mean, and that's another thing, right? Like on a podcast, long protracted combat that's very chunky isn't very listenable. So we've always got an eye to that. And Power by the Apocalypse makes really narrative focused stories. So that's my favorite one. And specifically our season that played Root. I don't know if you've played the board game Root with little
Mm-mm.
woodland creatures that are in a war torn uh woodland setting. It's really cute, and they're all definitely trying to kill each other because they're in a war. And that's the season that I'm personally most proud of. I worked really hard on it. It's got a really good it's got a consistent like musical theme, and there's like a storyteller element. It feels like, do you know like Watership Down
Oh,
or
I love, yeah.
those types of like creatures that are anthropomorphized, and then you have stories about them that are kind of intense. That's the kind of story that is. I was really harkening back to all that kind of stuff that I loved as a kid.
Oh, yeah. I loved Watership Down when I was growing up.
Yeah.
So you obviously DM. What
Yeah.
trans-
Well, we actually change. Like we rotate who the
Oh,
DM is. Yeah.
okay. That's awesome. So you don't get stuck doing it every single time.
Right. Exactly.
So
It's
would you
the le-
prefer to play or DM?
Oh, it's a battery, right? Like I love DMing, but at the end of a season, I'm so glad to be done. And just be a player. Just show up, you know? It gives me a ton of creative fulfillment to think of an idea for a story, figure out ways that I can randomize the plot and how they can randomize their stuff, and then guide them through this world that I've created. But that's a ton of work and a ton of mental energy. So I do appreciate both, being a player and being a DM.
I think your podcast was using it as an excuse not to create with me. And this goes back. I know, right? This goes back to I think it's Breaking the Panel. And I don't remember the full idea,
Oh my
but
God.
I was hit by I thought it was a moment of genius. It's like, how about we create, wouldn't it be cool to create a show called like Dungeons and Randomness or Discussions and something like that? And where it's kind of D&D based, but it's a podcast. So you have to randomize a topic, and then you have strength points to do all this other. And I was just roughing out the idea, and everybody's like, "Well, I think there's a podcast out about that." Oh, look, total random. Yeah, I was like, "That's not what they do." I mean, you can read their site. It's not what they do. And it was like, "Yeah, but they're doing it." I was like, well, so now guess what? I have Wise and Nerdy, where that's exactly what we do. We just know the 6 sections, and we roll a dice, and the dice kind of guides the show, and
That's
it
awesome.
works, and I like it. So
yeah, that
forgive me,
sounds
Phil Keating.
very different than our show.
Oh no, I know, right? I was trying to pitch an idea. Sometimes when an idea is rough, it's hard to communicate it. But that was like but it's a discussion, which is always my heart, is talking and interacting. But you do this randomness to it, where it throws you off. So you're not trying to build into the next thing. You're not already thinking ahead and getting into just being rote, and doing things. So I'm gonna throw this weird one out to you, Logan. What's a weird idea that you've had to create with that you haven't been able to execute yet?
Oh, that's hard to answer because, like, I'll say something that's not out yet, but we are currently making it, which is I've wanted to for a long time do a Blood Bowl season of our podcast. And because I love there's like one line in Blood Bowl that to me is the most fascinating thing, and it's really just not explored very much in the game because obviously it's like it's a tactical sports game, but all disputes are settled in Blood Bowl via that game, and
Right.
the implications of that line are wild. Like that world, like, literally, like all political like legislation is settled with a sports game. That sounds like an insane world. And so I with the show I can explore the parts that I am like, but what's that like? What's it like to, you have to, you're like, you kind of join a team as like, like I'm really repping our cause, like our actual like things that we legally want to have happen. And so some people I'm sure are in that for that, like the power, the legislative power. And then some people are in it because they're good at sports, and some people are probably in it because they are meat sacks to be destroyed.
I mean, Blood Bowl is a sports game.
Oh my.
I mean, it is, but it's a sports game like Major League was a sports movie.
Right.
I mean, yeah, but I love Blood Bowl. I have that on Steam. You know, when they put it on sale not that long ago. It's such a goofy, fun game.
It's
That's interesting.
the world's crazy and everything's really funny. Like the writing in it is really, really funny. And so I've always wanted to do that. So what I sort of, I mean, Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay does exist, and that's like adjacent to Blood Bowl because it's still Games Workshop. But I didn't feel like that was evocative enough of Blood Bowl. So we're doing it in this system called Land of Eam. That kickstarted a couple of years ago. But it's like D&D mixed with the Muppets, and I think it's really got the right goofiness.
Yeah. So Tyra, Blood Bowl is a football based game. I know you don't know about because Taylor Swift hadn't said it's okay for you to.
Yeah, I have no idea. Remember, it's Travis.
loose-
Travis first, Taylor second.
So it's like botched for football. Where it's not, it's D&D based, but yeah, they have fun.
Sort of.
And it's sort of it's a blast. I love that idea that you're taking from different pop culture references or things that you enjoy and building a season around that. It sounds like.
Yeah, absolutely. That's always sort of, you get like I said, I get around a year to figure out what thread I want to pull on for things that come into my head. And Blood Bowl has been around for a while. I just didn't, I don't know. I was nervous about the season at all. Right up until we recorded like the first proper episode. And of course, like, you know, we've been doing this for 7 years. My co-hosts are very good at what they do, and I needn't have worried because it was a blast, and I am so excited to keep recording the season. We're not, like I said, this is a preview. You're getting a sneak peek of what's coming for Very Random Encounters, because we're currently airing Rebellion, which is a small indie RPG about Star Wars, like the beginnings of the Rebellion. Then after we get done with that, which is a mini season with a special guest, Sarah Roberts, the Hype Goblin. But after we get done airing those, which is a 3-part little one-shot sort of deal, we'll start with the Blood Bowl season.
Nice.
So I need to talk to you about the Rebellion, because we've been wanting to put together a Star Wars RPG group.
Oh yeah,
That's like our big thing.
I don't know if there was the Fantasy Flight RPG, which I think is defunct now, but shoot, what's it called? Their system. But anyway, like we did have a whole season of that, which was just the Star Wars one from Fantasy Flight. But I find that's very challenging for the DM to run, because
tell me that.
Well, everybody's rolling X number of dice, and you might it's like your gun gives you 2 yellow ones and a green one, and then every dice has to have a purple one in it. And then if this is a dangerous enough situation, add a red one to that. And then the symbols are like advantages and disadvantages that cancel each other out, and then successes and failures that cancel each other out. And there might be a super success or a super failure.
Oh Lord.
And then as a DM, it's kind of interesting, because it's like, okay, you got 5 advantages, but you failed. So, you know, you didn't do what you set out to do, but you probably did something that was way better than that. But
okay, this may not be the game for me.
yes, it's like I said, very challenging
Thanks for dissuading me. Moving along now.
This one now that we're playing, this Rebellion, is based on Powered by the Apocalypse. So that's the 2d6. So that one's much easier to run, in my opinion, of course.
That sounds like when somebody told me about Hero Clicks. I'm like, oh, that sounds like a game I can get behind. In about a minute to explanation, I was like, nope, that is not a game I can get behind.
You got flying now, but when you take 2 clicks, then they don't have flying anymore, because they don't.
Yeah.
And you gotta know the color.
Oh, okay, I can click and that's my hit point. Nope, that's not your hit points. Like, oh my goodness. All right, I'm
my
out.
little ADHD self would be like, what?
That's me too. That's how it happened to me.
I'm like completely confused. Okay, so I'll look at Rebellion. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
So what's something non D&D that you love doing? Well, random encounters,
Oh,
non
not TTRPG.
TTRPG that you enjoy doing.
I mean, I love playing board games and video games a lot. Like the video games are probably my favorite medium to like experience media with, So I've recently been playing a lot of Stardew Valley. So that's, just living life on my little farm. Uh, and
Like we all want to.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't really want to. I mean, I do want to have a garden where I grow my own food, but man, it feels way better to just press A and then he just goes blip 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 and pulls out all the turnips or whatever. That's way harder to do in real life.
Yes. I kill everything, so you
Yeah,
would not be there.
I do okay with succulents. Like I do enjoy growing plants, indoor plants, especially like cactus kind of adjacent plants because they're hard to kill. And I at
True.
my back when I was in an office, like now I just work from home. I'm a front end web developer as my job.
Mm.
Um, but when I was in an office, I was like the guy who everybody brought the plants to. Like sometimes the office would like for spring give everybody flowers, which is weird because like a lot of people have allergies, so that's a strange thing to do. But anyway, like I would end up with like 5 or 6 of people's plants because they knew that I wouldn't let them die.
I would let them die.
Well, you'd be in good company because that was everybody else.
I would be like, honey, can you take care of this, please? Thank you. Now, I think you also create music as well.
Oh yeah, I do. I've got a bunch of so we do the show is kind of a musical sometimes. We have bespoke musical content. Um, some of it's on Spotify. If you search Very Random Encounters, of course the podcast will show up, but there's also music from Very Random Encounters. And I've done a couple of vocal tracks there. Like Receipts Merle is like a like 2000s punk sort of NoFX kind of track. And I mean, I have a blast recording all of those. I was living my punk fantasy on that. We did a bunch of like 90s grunge rock for our Things from the Flood season. I had a really good time recording those. But yeah, if you just look up Logan Jenkins on Spotify, that it probably won't come right up, but I'm in there. I promise.
Well, I think I found it, so I'm going to post it in the chat.
Nice.
It's a Spotify link to music from Very Random Encounters.
That's right. And we work with a company called Meadow Vista Media. They're great. If you are looking to have custom music made, Meadow Vista Media does a great job. One of the things, like when we started the show, I was making all the music for the show. Like all of the background music that we did for the first season was all me. And I think it went up into like the 4th season where I was still making all the music. And then that became like a lot. So I backed off from that. But every season we want to have a remix of the original theme song. So we have like my first one that I made for the show is on, anytime we do like a mini season, we have that first original theme. But each season we get a remix of that song that feels more like whatever the genre is that we're trying to do. And Meta Vista Media has really knocked it out of the park on our most recent stuff. Like we've done, I don't know, we had a horror season. I was a modern Medusa, and they put like VHS sound effects at the beginning of it, and then it sounded like the beginning of The Shining or whatever. And but it still feels like our theme song. They do a really cool job. But yeah, the show is quite musical, and I love that part of it, working with other folks to create cool music.
Awesome. So both Charles and I have a little music in our background. So how did you end up creating music? Were you piano trained or classic trained, or did you just pick it up?
So I was raised Southern Baptist.
All right, choir.
Yeah, and I was in like every version of the choir. So I did get trained by a professional to sing, although I don't know if that counts as professionally trained or not, but I did.
Depends on your choir master.
Yeah, I mean, I think I had a pretty talented person. It was at least somebody who could train you how to sing, you know. And then I played tenor sax in the band for like 12 years. I don't know, a long
Nice.
time. I did it a little bit into college and then sort of dropped it. but um but yeah, it was all of, you know, middle school and high school. I was in regular band and jazz band and all that stuff. So I've always been, you know, involved in creating music.
Yeah.
Uh yeah.
I just wondered. I mean, sometimes people can just pick it up, but a lot of us have it from our childhoods.
Yeah. I always thought of myself as not a trained singer, but then I did think back to like, oh, like, you know, I went to a bunch of like choir rehearsal stuff where a person who is a musical professional told us what to do. So I think that counts. I don't know.
I got kicked out of the choir loft for talking, so I know that's
Mm.
shocking.
And now you talk for a living. How about
And
that?
now and I'm a professor during the day, so I just talk all the damn
Oh
time.
wow, yeah. For for real job
Yeah.
and for
Scared
work
to
job.
shut up.
You are
So I
one to
stay in
talk.
this- that's true.
Truth.
Oh, man.
So you have got to meet Tales by Bob. You've got
Who's
to meet
that?
Bob because Bob
Bob
also writes
Magoo.
TTRPGs.
Nice. Sure,
And
yeah.
he'll be at Dragon on some of our panels. So I got to find a way to get you guys in each other's orbits because marketing TTRPGs is hard, and the
It
fact that
is.
you have that's amazing the success you had. And do you also have a book?
Yeah, the Ultimate Random Encounters book was something that me and my co-host of Very Random Encounters wrote in 2020. Weird year for everybody, and we were cold called by
Oh,
a subsidiary of Simon and Schuster, and so like we initially were like, "This isn't real," but then it was like they were really legit, and yeah, we're like in Barnes and Noble. But yeah, the Ultimate Random Encounters book is our book. You can find that at bit.ly/random book with a capital R and B.
or you can go to Amazon.com or Barnes and Noble and pick
Yeah.
that puppy up.
Yep. That's just it's a very strange book. It was very strange for the publisher as well
Oh, I
because
bet.
it's a list of prompts. So just like a story prompt that will start a an adventure. So it's designed for it's like system agnostic but catered towards fantasy. So of course you can do it in a D&D setting. And it's designed so that if you don't have much prep, you know, you can go into a session with a couple of your friends and just roll up a couple of things in whatever locale you're in, maybe the mountains or maybe in the swamp, and you'll get some kind of weird thing that happens to your players, and then you can take it from there.
Not bad. Well, it's on sale on Amazon for $13.69 right now. So
Heck yeah.
I like that. That's awesome. Because I need that. I keep toying with the idea of DMing. So
Yeah.
we'll
I mean,
see.
I've you know, I've heard from folks that it's helpful. A lot of folks have talked to me about like they have the book and they use it a lot. So that's, I mean, that's the best review I can get is
Yeah.
having somebody actually say that they used it and enjoyed it.
Now, Charles, you've never RPG'd, have you?
Nah, I mean, I've dabbled here and there. Yeah, I've been on a few episodes of Botch when it's just a
Okay.
one-off.
Okay.
But no, not really.
Okay. I just had get your background.
Just not your deal.
I mean, I grew up Southern Baptist as well and did enough character playing in real life. So I just never had the people around me. You know, I picked up
That makes a
entry level
difference.
stuff like Munchkin, and there's this Marvel game that we have that's kind of like that where it sets the characters up on the card and it's like a walk you through entry level kind of D&D kind of thing.
Yeah.
And my kids just never got into it, and that's all I have really around me to do anything with. So I don't really do the tabletop. I've gotten to stuff like Baldur's Gate on the computer, Fallout, those kind of things, character creation, but not the I'm the character and make all the funny voices and whatnot. I think it'd be fun with the right group. You know, I watch some of the stuff on TikTok every once in a while that pops up, and like this, I don't know who the group was, but this one group, they decided to do cosplay, and the players were all Batman characters, and that was the bit. Like Batman was like in a cage, and like we're gonna unlock you. You're gonna be good. Batman don't comply. They were okay. Batman headbutt somebody, and I mean, just this real spoof off of Batman is funny, and everybody's laughing. But the DM was dressed as a wizard, and like,
Huh.
that doesn't make sense. Shouldn't you be like Lucius Fox or I mean, there's so many other people you can be as a DM for that. But anyway, yeah, I just don't have the right people. And like I said, I've gotten on with bots once or twice, and that's been fun. But yeah, you said Tyra, that's what it takes is just a group of friends. That's why we don't do a lot of modern gaming board games at all, because it takes a group of friends, probably mostly adults, to really pull that off.
It's often said, and I think it's true, the final boss of any RPG is schedule coordination with adults.
Yep. 100%.
And then I honestly kind of just get tired of humans. Like my wife's uncle, he likes to do board games. He'll bring over for like New Year's Day or whatever a stack of board games. We're gonna play one, but we'll bring a stack, and then
just in case.
Yeah, right. One of them was like Doomhaven or Gloomhaven or whatever. That's like Matt. Yeah,
you are not playing Gloomhaven at the holidays.
Yeah.
What?
But
that's such a hopeful person to bring Gloomhaven.
Yeah,
it could have been pandemic.
But then he loves to take the one he hasn't unwrapped and unwrap it and then spend an hour reading all the instructions and trying to figure out how. I'm like, you got to play these before you come over, because here's what I need for a board game. Yeah. I actually enjoyed this. Well, one of the second or third years I went to DragonCon, I had time and I had brought my daughter. I was still coming in and out from outside the city. And I brought my daughter with me, and we met some friends. Like, we're big board gamers. You want to go down to the board game hall and play? I'm like, sure. And they checked out a few games that they were familiar with. And so then that really helped that fast forwarding of having fun and jumping in, because you're playing with people who are not only familiar with the game, but they're kind. So they're walking you through and explaining. It helped that he was also a podcaster, so we're used to talking and entertaining. And that's what I need. You want to walk me through a D&D season, then you really gotta help me understand it, and then tell me the rules to play in, and then let me ping pong like Deadpool, because it'll definitely get off track somewhere.
He should be an ogre.
I mean, like playing that kind of like a sort of a chaos gremlin.
That would work too. That would work too.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, but I mean, like that kind of player injects a lot of interest into a campaign. It's often I have beef with people who think this way, but like it's often put forward, especially like on like TikTok stuff, like that the relationship between a DM and a player is adversarial. So like that particular play style of really wanting to like say squirrel and go look at something that the person maybe didn't write. And I just like, if you've got a good GM, they will go with you on this fun adventure, and we'll just have an adventure about a squirrel now.
And we'll make it up as we go along.
Yeah, that's literally the point.
Which is how we got to randomizing, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And
full circle.
Now that you're talking about it, I'm thinking about it. I kind of need it to be a video game, not literally, but truly like that. Like I just need rails at first. Get in like, oh, okay, I understand. I'll tell you, I don't know much about the SCP universe. Other than basically it's my kind of thing with the monster of the week or whatever. And Bosch is doing that this year. And it's been fantastic because it lets them burn through characters and create new ones. And if something didn't work in this episode, then the next episode is a new monster, a new thing they got to find with an overarching storyline, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Well, I've really gotten into it this year with that, listening to them. And I'm playing a game called Control that I think is a little bit older.
Control.
Right.
Okay, I don't know Control, so now I got to look this up.
And so, I got into it because it's on Xbox Ultimate Game Pass. So I'm like, that looks really cool. I watched the trailer. Oh, that looks really cool. But the reason I compare that, so Logan, you'll understand this, is that's what I need. I need Control for any kind of TTRPG. Is you start off, as most games do, in the middle of this scene, right? You're in this building. But in this case, the tutorial is very subtle. It is very, just kind of walk. And then you hear the character talking and you go, okay, they're doing some exposition, but there's a reason for it. You find out later. It's not just talking to the audience, which I was willing to hand wave. But you just kind of get, and you as a kid are just discovering this world. And I love that, and I see that in people like you, Logan, and that get into it, and like you're discovering this world, you're figuring it out. I just need the help getting into the world
You need a
first.
tutorial level, basically.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like so I just did a Patreon episode with Botch a couple weeks ago. They hit me up that day. It's like, hey, can you fill in? And like, sure. And it was just a one-off. And they said, I forget how they described it of the world we were going into. I got 1990s Hackers, the movie.
Oh,
They meant
Love.
like cyber tech, like I lost everything, but
Oh,
you know,
no.
cyberpunk and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And so it was a very rough start.
Very
But once I figured out where they're going, it's like, oh, and then it was just honestly, it was kind of boring because we didn't get to, well, for me, because I want to develop that character. And when you're recording an hour and a half or 2 hours
Yeah,
for one shot, you got to get this start,
Yeah.
middle, and end done.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, it was,
You don't get to do too much
it was
character
yeah,
exploration.
No.
exactly. And it
Gotta
was
kill things.
cool. And I definitely appreciate the opportunity to be on, but I need a tutorial level.
It sounds like you need a tutorial level, and then also you thrive with being able to return to that character after you've learned the ropes.
Yeah.
That you want to stick with that guy. I always say, like for the games that I run like at home or whatever, I have a every other Monday group that comes over, and it's like watching my favorite television show. Like I love all these characters, and I can't wait for them to show up, and like I just want to see what happens next with them. And you can never predict it because it's just human beings doing this.
And human
I do
beings
like
are vastly unpredictable.
Mhm.
And I do love that about all of it because I mean, one of the things that's what I love about doing Wise Nerd. I do get bored with things. I do when it's the same thing over and over and things aren't changing. And just being able to say, here's a structure, we're gonna hit these points in the structure. So you have places to bounce off of, like podcasting parkour, if you will. Just jump off of this edge and flip over
Yeah.
that one. But you still have
Be
that
fine.
chaos if you do not know where this conversation is gonna go. You don't have to cut something short because we got to get to the next segment. It's fun, and I think that's probably what it sounds like you're describing of what you love about jumping into these worlds.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I think that's a good segue into talking about like how when I DM for the show,
Oh.
or in general, I like to have all the details of the world, like it being alive and working, but like I just know what's happening in the world, right? And then they can do whatever they want, and then I'll just have the world react how it's going to react because I've got all this in my head, right? Of like I know this event's happening, and if they don't go over there, then it will resolve in this way. But if they do go over there, we'll figure it out. And I don't like to have a ton. I like to have outlines, but not details until I like players to add details to my outline, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It does. You got high notes you got to hit, but you let them get there.
Yeah.
And it drove Dennis crazy.
What
Yeah.
did you do to Dennis?
Well, no, just on one of his seasons. But I've been an adjacent executive producer over there for years now. I forget how long, and we're talking about this 4th or 5th season, and the murder hobos that he had on the show decided, because hey, there's 5. I mean, it was blatant. There's 5 crystals and blah blah blah. And he set it up to where it's like, go get the crystals. I'm like, what's this away? And they purposefully
Squirrel.
went out of their way just to piss him off, and he had to make up a whole nother section of the story. That was the best part of the story because the cast members didn't know what they're doing. They just knew they were going against him. He was trying to get them back. It was hilarious. It was fun. And then they ultimately got to and that's when we talked that year. I was like, hey man, understand that you're trying to do A to B, but these guys are never going to do A to B.
Oh, yeah.
And you should know that. You've been with them longer than I have.
Well,
It's
you were talking about like you have to have that tutorial stage. It's not just to learn what the game is, but it's also to like get kind of player investment, right? Because if you're just like, and there's 5 giant crystals, but they don't. I mean, like, why does my character?
Why?
Like, maybe they don't. And it sounds like their initial reaction was like, I don't care about those crystals. I'm gonna go find something else fun to do. And I'm sure if it sounds like they wove it in eventually to where they found a crystal, and maybe by that time the characters are like, okay, I've like found a reason why I care about this particular thing, this particular quest.
Yeah.
Or you can just cause more trouble.
Yeah, I mean, then maybe you just throw those crystals in the garbage, or like in the background that like bad stuff is happening in the world and they could have prevented it, I guess, but it's like whatever.
Or
That could
just
be interesting
they're
too.
oblivious. That's us. When I play, very oblivious.
No, those are always fun too. There's a group out of Australia on TikTok that does. I wish I didn't remember their name, but they do NPC skits and actual role playing skits, and you know, the guy does all this sneaking, and you're watching it like it's playing out. Then of course they're all in costume, all in character. They have actors in the woods, and he does everything, and then it cuts back to that's what it's describing to do. And the DM goes, "Okay, roll for it." He goes, "I got a 2." He goes, "All right, you trip over a flock of geese or something." Yeah, it's hilarious. But in that same episode or same season of Botch, they're leaving the town like early on, and this guy approaches them, and they're going to talk. They just murder him on the spot. That was the NPC that was supposed to give them all the information to go forth and do the whole season, and they just went, "Don't like your face," and they killed him.
That
And
seems unnecessary.
That
Yeah.
would be a challenging group for sure. But if you like as the GM, right? If I was in that situation, it'd be like, well, that's not the guy. The next guy you meet is the guy.
Yeah, and
Like,
that's
here comes a handsome man to tell you some things. Let's try not to kill this one.
So what about you, Tyra? What's your tabletop experience?
Oh, I actually didn't start playing until my 30s, mid 30s, which was hilarious because I actually did some work on a book by Phil Briccato called Deliria. And so I was doing work in RPG, but I'd never actually played an RPG. So it was kind of funny. Marketers can market anything, is what we would say. And then I started playing Dungeons and Dragons, but old school, like second edition was like the first thing I played. And then we did that for a while, and then I got married. And we played lots of World of Warcraft. And we had a group that was playing Pathfinder, and the pandemic killed us.
Oh.
I mean, we're all alive still.
Let's be a little clearer on that one.
we were not the best at like using the systems that were available to play separately, like to play online. We had a lot of technical issues, and it was just frustrating as
Everybody had to get so good so fast at using those tools in 2020.
And they weren't that, I mean, some of them were okay, but I'm trying to
Yeah.
get my husband set up and me set up, and no bueno. So we're still looking to get back. One of our group has moved to Cyprus, so that's a little problematic, but I would love to get back to RPGing. I miss it. We have tons of dice. I need to use the damn dice. So we must do something. And my bestie has said that she will DM. So it's
Well, there
just
you
a matter
go.
of
You
trying
got
to
3
coordinate
players, it
everybody.
sounds like.
Well, and then, then that we have a dog that has separation anxiety.
For just a second, I was thinking you were going to say the dog plays D&D too, and I was
be great.
so excited. I'm sorry that your dog has anxiety instead.
Me too. Trust us. We are very not happy about this. He's awesome, but they also have a dog who has lots of anxiety issues. So I don't know what we're going to do.
Is it like the separation anxiety kind of thing?
Hers is Callie just, if it's thundering, that child is trying to get out of the house. It's super bad.
She wants to be in the lightning?
She wants to be in the lightning. So Dobby is asleep, but this is Dobby.
Sweet baby.
He's such a cutie. But he's asleep right now in the room. But he loves his mommy and daddy, and so he either has a pet sitter or he goes to the ranch.
Oh.
Or he goes with us.
There you go.
Just so you know, you can take your dog to Joanne's.
There you go. They'll just let you in Joanne's. Joanne's Fabric? Like
yes. Yep, absolutely. 100. They have a sign on the door that says dog friendly. And we went there
because they know they're selling to a bunch of cat ladies.
They do, except for we're bringing our dogs.
Yeah.
So no, he had a great fun time in the yarn aisle.
There you go. Wow. Oh, like a fun time that was going to be bad for everybody else in the store.
Yeah, he was very well behaved. But you have to kind of like so many people are afraid of dogs, and he has a certain look to him.
Mm,
And so I always am trying not to run down an aisle with somebody. We went to the ladies' room together because it was a place where I could shut the door and take him with me. And when I
sure.
opened the door, the lady was like, because there was a dog coming out
Yeah.
first.
Oh.
So, but he was awesome. He's awesome right now. As long as I'm with him, he's awesome.
Nice.
So we're not
Kind of
bringing him
like
to
Shane.
Dragon Con. Hmm?
So kind of like Shane.
Hey, Shane's my husband.
Oh.
You can take him out. He's pretty good.
Can you bring
Oh,
him
or
to Joanne's Fabric?
no, because he would spend more money than I would. He's a cosplayer.
Oh yeah. Yes, that can rack up pretty quick.
Oh my gosh, we have our 3D printer in the other room now, and he's going to start printing his Mandalorian armor here soon.
Ooh. We have a 3D printer, but we can't get it to work. We've tried so much.
Oh well, I'll let you know if we get ours to work.
Cool.
We're hopeful.
Good luck. Good
We
luck.
have friends, so and there's a whole Mandalorian group in Atlanta. So if all else fails, we'll be going. Hi, nice
We
to
need
see
to-
you.
Here's our
Help,
files.
help. And then I'll be doing lots of sanding and lots of painting. So exciting.
I love that. I like we've done some cosplay stuff, me and my husband, and we've done like My Hero Academia stuff. He
Ah, my
he
niece loves
can
that.
he can make anything out of foam, like the little like floor mat foam. So he
Yep.
made like Bakugo's. I don't know if y'all know anything about My Hero Academia.
I've watched the first like 8 episodes so far. Me and my
So
daughter
Bakugo, the
watched it.
guy with grenade gauntlets.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he made those that it looked like giant grenades, and I don't know, they look completely impractical, and they were for him to walk around, but they look really cool.
It's not about convenience with cosplay.
No, not at all.
100% not. Well, so here's a question. How did you end up at Dragon Con?
Well, I'm friends with Tony Cowell, who works for Dragon Con.
Yeah.
And so he's just been trying like poking me a bunch to go there. And it's been on my radar. Like a lot of friends. I have a couple of friends that are Eternal members, and so they just want everybody to go every year. And
Yes.
I had gone for like a day trip once, and that's not really the way to experience Dragon Con. Like I walked away not really feeling like I had done anything,
Right. Yeah.
Um, so so this last year I jumped in headfirst as a creator, and I was on 7 panels, which
And
is
that
a
was your
lot.
first dragon?
That was my first like full like
Oh my
non-day trip
gosh.
version. Yeah, I went as as a
Good for
panelist
you.
and on a whole bunch of stuff. It was great. Like I was on a panel with like my show did a live show. We've only done 2 of those ever. And it was really really fun. Everybody dressed up as the character that they were.
Oh,
And
that's great.
we were playing my game Imaginary Friend Fight. So I dressed up as Wario as the Taskmaster, and Wario as a Taskmaster was very funny. And I was able to get the crowd to react to stuff, and we acted like the crowd was getting set on fire by like Maleficent when she turned into a dragon. It was really really great. I had such a fun time, and I can't wait to go back.
I should say,
I just found
You're-
out today all 3 of my panels are back, so yeah.
just so you know, if you submitted a panel to the digital media track, you can go by our Discord server, and there's a link with version 2.
Yeah, I didn't know.
You didn't know.
And now I know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I am the mod of 3 panels for Dragon Con, and I'm really
I'm
excited.
excited for you.
Yeah.
And
Last year it went really well, so I'm hoping it'll go well again.
we will keep our fingers crossed. I mean,
yeah, you never can tell. Never can tell.
No. And if you're out there listening and you are also going to be on a panel or moderating, there's a form linked for you in the general chat of the Discord server. Please go fill that out for me if you want any social post about yourself.
Yeah, I'm a trained graphic designer, so I think last time I just sent you my
You did.
stuff
It was
that I
awesome.
designed. Yeah, and I felt good about that stuff. So I'll probably just sort of redo that. It's got like the background that's the old carpet, and
Oh, I love the old carpet. Yeah, no, send me any of your panels if you want to go ahead and send me stuff. Feel
Cool.
free. I'll have a Dropbox for that too, because I have to keep
So-
everything organized because there's no There's just me doing the post.
And
Ugh.
yeah, I mean, well, on the subject
I'm
of
the
panels,
problem, it's me.
if you got stuff that you need a TTRPG professional on, hit me up, or even an improv person, because I was
Aren't
on.
you? Did you do stuff with Super Geeked Up?
I did, yeah, I did the
Okay,
panel with Super Geeked Up, and then we did one of their shows, just one of the streams last year too.
that's
So,
what I
and
thought.
I'm hoping I get back invited back to that, but who knows? Who knows?
Jeff is an interesting cat when it comes to the crew for his panels. Sometimes you'll see the same people, and sometimes he just rotates them out, which is perfectly good too.
Yeah, I mean, for improv stuff, like, yeah, you wanna have a rotating cast for sure. So, no hard feelings if I'm not there, but it was a blast, and I made some friends that I'm still chatting with to this day.
That's the best. That's the best part of Dragon Con.
Hmm.
Making
So
friends and finding family.
what panels do you have this year? Or what,
So
what panels were you doing?
yeah, so I'm doing how to actual play and keep it fun. That's a repeat of last year. We like definitely changed somebody's life last year, so I am very proud of that panel, and I'm excited to do it again. We just talked about, because we've been doing it for 7 years, so we know a couple of things about keeping
A
stuff.
thing or two.
Yeah, keeping stuff fun and making it not like you don't want to pile all the work onto one individual. Anyway, if you want to learn more about that, come to that panel. And let's
Ignore that, Tyra. We are supposed to pile all the work onto you. Don't listen to that.
No,
Don't listen to him. There's no world outside of this. You know nothing.
Gwen, I miss you. Anyway,
we're
that's
also
why we have forms, and we're very organized. And fill out your forms anyway.
yeah, the forms are really important. I think go ahead and fill out those forms. I'm going to do a panel on using randomness in your RPGs. I
Ooh.
also know a thing or two about that.
I again, Tells by Bob and you have got to hook up.
Yeah, I mean, we probably need a couple more folks on that panel. So if he's interested in randomizing stuff,
I will send him. He writes stuff like you do, so
cool. Yeah,
like one sheets. So
sweet.
I'll hook you two up.
And then our show is going to have a live show again.
Yay!
So yeah, I'm not 100% sure if we're going to do Imaginary Friend Fight again because that was so fun. It's not really our usual to repeat systems, but it worked really well for a live show. So I don't know. Well, I'll feel it out, figure it out. But those are the 3 that I'm hosting so far. I'll definitely be on more panels, but I don't know what they are yet.
He's just
I like
flying
it.
by the seat of his pants.
Yep.
Aren't
It's
we all?
Yeah. It's all.
Do you have a
in-
hotel room?
Oh no, that's the super fun part. They don't give us that until a literal week before the con, so I just have to wait.
Okay. So you're a guest. Did you
Yes.
got a room? Oh, that's
Oh,
awesome.
well, they're not. Let me be clear. They're not paying for the room, but they are, which is still huge. They are going to make sure I get like a reservation that I can have, like through.
Oh, that's
through the
awesome.
con. Yeah,
Because that's like my biggest level of anxiety.
me
I just
too.
want to say,
It is still pretty anxiety inducing to have to wait until a week before the con to guarantee that they've got
Oh,
you
yeah.
covered.
I trust
But
them though. I feel like that.
yeah,
I feel like you're solid there.
yeah.
You
I
know,
mean,
I'm in the Hunger Games.
oh no.
You know, the one year I got my bestie, the Hyatt, and it became turned over to Legacy. And then during the pandemic, she had a bunch of stuff going on and she forgot to. Yeah, so we lost the Legacy. So
No.
I am in the pray and stab people if need be. And we stay down at the Ritz now. That was we went and moved to the West End because it was easier to get into. And now we're at the Ritz and I love staying there.
Nice. Yeah,
And
last time I had such a high up room and I just love looking at the Atlanta skyline. I could do
Ooh.
it. I could do that for the whole weekend, honestly.
Yeah. Which hotel were you in?
Oh, I can't even remember.
Was it round?
Yeah, it was
You were in the
round.
Westin.
Yeah, the Westin. That sounds right. Wow, how did you? That was so quick.
I'm born and raised here. Thank you very much. Been going to Dragon Con for over 30 years. Thank you. Tip your waiters and waitresses. And your social media goddesses too while you're
Yes.
at it.
Definitely do that.
Tip everybody.
Yeah, well, not you.
Ooh.
Ouch.
I know
Hey,
that was really
I
bad.
take coffee or bourbon, either way.
I need bourbon. Actually, I probably needed coffee before this.
Yeah, they'll pump up the energy levels a little
I
bit. I
know.
don't know. I've been having a blast.
I've had a blast. I usually have an accelerator. I have an energy drinkish sort of thing.
Nice.
Again, Travis Kelsey. Nice to see you. We have a theme and that's awesome. I didn't wear my
A bourbon based economy.
oh shit,
Yes.
we both did it at the same time.
And actually, I prefer Scotch to bourbon. I'll
I
take it.
prefer whiskey.
All the browns. I like the
I'm-
coffees, the bourbons, the scotches, the whiskeys.
Mhm.
I literally liked pirates, so I am a rum guy. So that's
Oh, my husband's a rum guy. You guys can talk rum.
yeah.
Kev, I adore you already. Bourbon. Well,
So,
whiskey's my jam.
do you live in the Atlanta area?
I'm in Greenville, South Carolina. So
Okay,
about
not too
3
far
Oh,
hours.
I
off.
love Greenville.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's very pretty.
You have a great bagel place.
Oh, are you talking about Sully's?
No, Greenfields.
Greenfield. Yeah, Greenfield's good. Greenfield's
Yeah,
good.
Greenfields is great. Anyway, sorry. We're just having a moment.
All coming back to Piggly Wiggly.
Yeah. we do
Let's just
not have
talk
a Piggly
local
Wiggly.
Southern stores today.
Hyper,
No.
like very narrow casting to like maybe one person.
Yeah.
True. But no, Greenville's great. My husband's a Shriner and there's a Shriners hospital there.
Cool.
So we go to Greenville occasionally.
Nice. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, it's not too far away at all. Like I've the show has gone to PAX Unplugged before, and that's a much further trek.
Yes.
We all had to figure out airfare. Although for Atlanta,
You
Greg
tried.
and Wheels would still have to. We are a podcast that's in different countries. Wheels
Oh wow.
is in Canada, and Greg is in Minnesota, which obviously is in the same country,
Close.
but very far away.
Very far away. Different climate than
Yes.
Georgia and down here.
Uh-huh.
So is Mr. Canada coming down?
They are. I don't know. Currently, no. I
Okay.
don't think they're gonna make it.
I have one of my friends from Canada is coming down, so I'm excited. She's going to be on a couple of panels for us.
Nice. Yeah.
I know.
Eventually,
yeah.
we'll get
Nerdy.
Nerd body or something.
Yeah, nerdy.
I-
Nerd
I
body
hope-
is.
Oh, that's great. I hope Wales will eventually be able to get there, but it's just a huge commitment to, fly separate countries. I'm sure you know from your friend.
Oh yeah, no. Well, they're taking a week or more than a week to drive down. Like
Wow,
they're driving down.
driving.
Yeah, she has so many costumes.
Fair. Yeah.
Between
Wheels
her
would
and
not
her-
have a bunch of costumes, but
No.
they
Between
would.
her and her sister, it's like, and she does Maleficent, not Maleficent. From The Little Mermaid.
Ursula?
She does Ursula.
Ooh, I love
and-
Ursula.
So she has just a ton. So they're driving down with all their cosplay.
That's amazing. Ursula, like all those tentacles, that would be quite a pack. Like I don't know. I'm sure the cosplay ways have it very
Bins.
yeah.
Bins are your friends.
the
Labeled
yellow
bins.
topped black bins, right? Those are the ones.
Yep. And a wagon cart. And we are totally prepared. Like I make him now like put everything in one bin for one costume.
Oh
So-
yeah, that's
Jedi, so
We-
forth.
honestly it's a mess in our costume room.
We have one too. We have a costume. room.
How many bins are in your hotel room at Dragon Con?
Who are you asking?
Tyra. Okay. Logan.
Two.
Two for him.
Four
So
bins,
two each.
4 bins, 2 suitcases, and a Yeti cooler.
It's not too bad.
Yeah, we
No,
bring a little mini fridge full of like Lunchables and stuff. Although I guess they have lead in them, so maybe we'll change that.
What?
There's a lawsuit against Oscar Mayer that they've got
Oh
too
my
much.
god!
The
What?
FTC or something alleges they have too much lead in all their products.
I mean,
I think I'm glad
Do
I
you
bought my
ever
husband the
have-
boar's head bologna now.
Yeah.
do you ever have too much lead when it comes to Lunchables?
Yes.
Yeah, obviously. Wait, remember the old Corel plates? like that you had your mom had growing
Yeah,
up.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And my mom passed away, and one of our friends took her plates. And then he sent
Right.
me a nice little note about how they're mercury leading. Like
Whoa.
they're the worst of the Corel plates from that era.
Jeez.
He's like, so I'm
Gosh.
not eating on them anymore.
Yeah, I guess not.
He's like, here's you
I
a
mean,
set to put in your china cabinet for posterity. I'm
at
like,
this point, probably most of the mercury has bled out into like you, but
probably my mom and dad who lived until their 90s. So let's just say that they were fine.
nice, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
They had a good one.
that's what you have to get to, right? It's the 90s adage. But did you die? You know,
But did you die?
we drank out of pewter cup, not pewter, like no McDonald's cups. You know, you used to go to McDonald's, you get glasses.
Oh,
You know,
yes, I have them.
yeah, but those have like something bad in them, I'm sure, like mercury poisoning or asbestos or radiation or something. But you know, we drank out of water hoses, right? And you get hurt and get sick, and the parents be like, "But did you die?" It's like, well, no, but it still was unpleasant. Yeah, would have died.
Felt like I wanted to. There
So
you go.
what okay, other than your panels, which I think you did it the right way. Honest. Okay, Jeremy cheese was in the pocket of Big Lead. This is true.
More
That's-
lead in the Big Macs.
That was awesome.
I gotta get out of here. I got a meeting to go to. I just
Oh
realized.
no.
But I do want to say, Logan, I think you did it right as a creator. It can be intimidating to go as an attendee, and then it's a whole different con when you're a creator. I think jumping in and doing panels, because that more or less was probably your comfortable spot. Now,
Yeah.
I think you instead of being like a first timer at DragonCon, when you come in that way, I think it jumps you up 3 or 4 years of experience just by the fact that you have to do shows and whatnot.
Yeah.
So,
I learned a lot fast. I'll tell you that.
Oh, yeah. Gotta know the
Tyra, if
secret
you want to
passageway.
keep talking to him, you can. I've got to jump off and go do some DragonCon stuff.
Oh, excitement. Well, go do good Dragon Con stuff. I'll send us out of here. You go things. And by the way, it's you and me next time.
All right. Next week's me and you.
Next week's me and you, unless we have some person that we, rope.
All right.
I'm going to give
Thank
my spell. Go to your meeting.
All right.
He's off to do Dragon Con things. Oh, the life of a track director.
It's funny that he went from a Dragon Con thing to a Dragon Con thing.
I know. Well, no, he was at an airport thing.
No, I mean this.
Oh, that's true. We are a Dragon Con thing. Wow.
that. Oh, wait, there we go.
Right. It's
I'm
yeah.
coming to
I never know which way to play.
it.
There's a reason I'm not in charge here. I'm just here for the laughs and giggles. I'm going to tell them to fill out the form. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah. I like that. That's your subtitle. Fill out the form.
There's a friend of mine, Clint Hall, who's a writer, and he was on, and he continually changed his subtitle the entire time. And I'm
Nice.
cracking up, and the other guy's not even looking at it. Doesn't know. And I'm like changing mine to answer back to him. So now I do it all the time. So.
Yeah. I love a little sight gag like that.
So no, it's good. So what's your favorite drink?
Favorite drink? Like
Anytime.
alcoholic?
I don't care. It doesn't matter.
I'm just gonna say rum and diet. That's
okay.
That's my go-to. Yeah.
Rum and diet is good. What's your favorite rum?
Kraken.
Ooh, Shane likes Kraken too. He does Kraken, and right now all I can think is Maker's Mark, but that's bourbon.
Yeah, I mean, I'll like most places probably don't have Kraken and probably do have Captain, and I'm fine with Captain Morgan.
It's pretty standard. I mean,
yeah.
Oh, see, there goes Dobby.
A sweetie. Who would be afraid of that?
I know he literally is adorable. And he's very well behaved. I just want to say that. But there are people afraid of dogs, and I totally get that. We all have different life experiences. So I just try to be mindful of the fact he is, over 50 pounds, and he's a big dog, and he might look ferocious while he's smiling at you.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, it only takes like one bad encounter when you're little, and then that's it,
Yeah. One of my friends from work, she had a bad encounter when she was young, and so she just can't do dogs. And we're like, well, it's okay. If you come over for dinner, we will take him to the ranch, and he will have a good time with his friends.
Nice.
So I have to ask, do you have pets?
We had 3 dogs in the house, and they passed away a while back at this point, and we have not. Our hearts are not ready
It's
still
hard, isn't it?
to. Yeah, but they were. I mean, they were lovely. We had a very full house, so it's interesting. Now we're almost used to the quiet, but it was cool. Yeah.
Understand.
Uh,
We lost all 3 of our originals during COVID.
oh, that's what a tough time to lose them.
It was
Sheesh.
2022, 23. We lost Bandit last year. But
Gosh.
luckily we had this little guy who's curled up
Mm.
now, and he made it all better.
Oh.
And 2 cats that are crazy, but
Nice.
I would be a cat. The truth is I really would be a cat lady. Like if I didn't find my husband, who I found at Dragon Con, which everybody knows, but I would be a crazy cat lady.
Well, there you go. I mean, there's still time if you really want to start grabbing the cats.
I'm gonna keep the husband.
Oh, I mean, what? Is he like absolutely not? We got to hard line it too.
No, well, probably. I mean, the second one we got, so the first one would have a playmate, and they don't play together very much.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you can't really. Cats are, I mean,
Cats
dogs all have their own personalities too, but cats vary so much.
and
It's
nobody told me tuxedo cats were crazy.
apparently they're dumb, right? Is
No,
he a
no,
dummy?
mine is exceedingly smart,
Oh, there you
and
go.
but she is also crazy. She's on Prozac,
Oh, there you go. Yep.
so she had a lot of anxiety. So perfect for rounding out Mental Health Month for my kitty, and it's really changed her. She's much calmer
Oh,
now. So
yeah. I it took me a long time to get on the right medicine, but now I'm on bupropion, and ooh,
is it
that's a
rocking?
great,
Good,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
awesome.
I've literally felt it, like, because I do like mental spirals where I'll just be worrying about something and continue
Oh
down,
yeah.
and I've literally felt it. I mean, I can't explain it any other way than that, but I've felt it stop me from falling further, which
Oh,
is,
that's wonderful.
yeah, it's really cool.
That's what it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
So
But I mean, those kind of medicines are so individual. Like your individual brain chemistry is going to be so different from somebody else. But I found my pill. I did
yay!
it.
We endorse mental health on this show, one way
Yeah.
or another. So good for you. So I have to ask before we get out of here, because you have a lot of them on the t-shirt quilt behind you. Who's your favorite superhero?
The Beast from
Okay.
X-Men.
No,
Yeah.
I'm down with that. I mean, I married a 6'5" man, so
There you go.
4. Well, tell everybody we can see it, Logan Jenkins. We know you're coming to Dragon Con. Were you at South Carolina Comic Con?
I was out of
Was it?
town for that, but it
Okay.
was pretty recent. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've made it to almost all of them.
Okay. We
But
were
I
at
missed
this
this
one,
one.
of course. So of course you weren't there.
Yeah.
Next year.
Alas. Yes, next year for sure.
So tell everybody what you got coming down the pipe, or what they should be looking forward to.
So yeah, like I said, I offered that sneak peek of the Blood Bowl season, which we're calling Violence Ball because Games Workshop is kind of litigious. So I've
Oh, good for
filed some
you.
of the serial numbers off of that, but the spirit is there, and that's going to be in a couple of weeks, or I guess 3 weeks from now. We'll
3
we'll
weeks.
release
Okay.
the
You guys
first
come out
episode.
every week?
Yeah, between seasons we take a week off, but we're a weekly show otherwise.
Awesome. And you're doing Rebellion right now, I think.
Yes, absolutely. We have the second episode out, so next Monday that will be the conclusion of the Rebellion mini season.
Awesome. I'm going to go back and listen. I saw it today and I was like, oh, I'm going to go back and listen to the first one so
Yeah.
I don't start in the middle of it.
Another thing, like our show is edited and pretty short. Like it's like 30 minutes to an hour for an
Oh,
episode.
wow.
So it's not
Okay.
like me personally, I have a hard time listening to following stuff like Critical Role that I have to have like a hours and hours and hours commitment every week.
Oh, right.
So if that's you too, our show is shorter.
I like that. And they got a really short one, Rebellion, with 3 episodes, and then
Yeah.
they're starting a new. So now is the time.
And if you just want to select one, of course, we have a randomizer to choose a season that we've previously done on our website, vre.show.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Let's see, vre.show.
Yep. And if you go to the listening guide, it has everything we've ever played on it and a little blurb about what you can expect from that season. And there's a button that can randomize which one you want to listen to.
Well, there we go. Let me see. There we go. I just posted it in the chat for everybody, so you can go there and get randomized because that's what we love.
Yeah.
And I actually love. I didn't know that show was a
Yeah,
plug.
it was not taken for this one, and I think VRE.show is a pretty cool
No, that's
URL.
awesome. Kind of want to go see if I can get mine. So
Mhm.
I own geekmeetsocial.com, but I would love to own Geek Meet Social Show. That'd be kind of sexy. Okay, so we're going to be on that soon. Don't forget, you can find Logan at loganjenkins.com and at DragonCon.
Yeah.
And I'm Tyra Burton. Since Charles is not here, let me give you the rundown. Where is my... So you can go to Linktree, DC Digital Media Track, and get our Discord link. You want to be on our Discord. First off, we're a great place. We do have conversations. And if you got questions, there are people there that can answer them. But that's where we kind of continue the con afterwards. It's also where you can find out all about our programming that's coming up. And it's also where you can go fill out that form if you're a panelist or moderator.
Fill
We're
out the
here
form.
every Wednesday. That's where you can find Charles at RGOP42 Linktree. It's not the Republican Party. It's Rock God of Podcasting.
Maybe you should drop the O and just RGP.
I don't know, but my husband was a poli-sci major. Was like, does he know? I'm like, no, he doesn't. So, since he's not here, I'll say something. And you can find me at tyraburton.com, which is where everything is. I'll be at DragonCon, and I'm also going to be at Multiverse this year, so I'm super excited about that as well, and hoping for another 1 or 2 appearances before the year is out, and maybe even a book or 2. I need to go write. So, Logan, it's been awesome. I hope everybody's having a great night, and we'll see you next Wednesday, 8 p.m. Dragon Time. You know that's EDT right now on Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. Logan, it was awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome.
And I never would have known that you were a DragonCon virgin last year.
Oh, wow. So
Good
see,
time.
I'm such a pro. Thanks for
Well,
having me.
Thanks for coming, and thanks for bringing Piggly Wiggly with you.
Absolutely. Anytime. Wait, there we go.
Yeah. Oh, what a great ending. Y'all have fun, but don't get arrested. Bye, y'all.